Hey guys, welcome to part 33. Now, I've done the second and final coat of the milk paint. It is a dark paint, it's an English traditional look, and it's I bought it in Bunnings and they call it, there you go, Eclipse. Bunnings, for you Americans, is your equivalent. Well, actually, there's no equivalent to you. You guys are massive in everything. To your Walmart, I think it is, and or whatever of the hardware stores that you have there. That's you would call a big box store. We've got something like that too. So, or wannabe big box store. So, yeah, I bought it from there. I'm not sure what I paid, 50, 60 bucks for it, I think. And the lady said that she goes, "You're going to need 2 cans of this. That's 2 liters." Yeah, and my intuition kicked in and said, "I think maybe I can get away with 1 liter." So I already hit 2 coats on this, and I've used only half a liter. So listen to your intuition and not to the salesperson. So the trick is that you've got to apply thin coats, not heavy, coats. If I did apply heavy coats, then I would have used the whole 1 liter. But that's not what you do. It's as simple as that. You use thin coats, and on the first coat it dried sporadically, and it looked like a real mess, and that's normal. And then I sanded it back, and you gotta use something that's a high grit. That's you're not going to, if you use something like a 240 or 300. I don't know. I didn't even try the 400. I used 1,000 grit, and because I didn't want. This is very thin, right? This is milk paint. You can see the beauty of milk paint is that the grain underneath shows. So if I start sanding away, then what's going to happen? I'm going to take the milk paint off it, and I'm just defeating the purpose, and I'm chasing my own tail. So all you want to do is take the nibs off. So I did it lightly with 1,000 grit, and then I went over it with 4O steel wool, because it just didn't look like I, covered every area of it, because I was being very light with it. The 4O steel wool on its own wasn't enough, so I should have used my other ones that I've got there, the other grades of the wool. It's a bit late now, but that's what I should have done. Now, to give this a bit of a gloss to it, you've got to apply wax over it, and you use your steel wool. I do like the color as it is now, but this is like touch dry. It's not rough, like it's got that textured feel because of the foam brush that I used. So I'm just a bit nervous now, thinking about applying the wax to it, because what if I go through, I'm just worried about ruining the thing. That's what I'm worried about. And what I'm going to have to do is use one of the offcuts there, paint that, and then use the 4O steel wool with the wax, and to see, you know, if it's going to create any damage or not. There's no real inconspicuous areas on this thing. I mean, I could do it on the back of this, you know, to save time. And that's the back, and no one's going to see it, except for me if I roll it around. And I've really done such a nice job of painting this. I just don't want to ruin it, you know. Now the trick to getting this brushless appearance, which is, even looks like it's been sprayed, is to use this foam brush. And admittedly, I picked this tip up from the girls that you know, the ones that do those Dixie Belle paints or whatever they're called, or the Annie Sloan, and then they revamp an old cabinet. And this chick that was showing it, they usually use not milk paint, they usually use the chalk paint, and she used that brush, and I thought, wow, you know, the foam brush. I thought, okay, that may work. So I bought it, and it does. It works really, really well. So, but again, you've got to know how to apply it. So, I don't know, my dad, he was also a painter, and he painted many houses, and I used to help him out on that as well, and he taught me how to paint, how to use the roller. So it's not about slapping it on, and you know, otherwise you're just going to have roller marks, which is what I think I saw in one of the videos that I watched. There was roller marks, but I knew that it would work because I knew that I would do, you know, a better job because I was taught how to paint with a roller. What else? I think that's about it. So I'm going to leave this to dry overnight. In the meantime, I'm going to prep up one of these woods here. It's really firewood. And try out the wax. Now the wax that you do expect to use, you know, if not the whole can, but a lot of the can. It's not going to be just about you slapping it on. It's not paint. So you'll be constantly dipping into it, and that Renaissance is a bit expensive, so I'll use a cheaper wax. And I think it'll do at least a close job, or a good job. The tool cabinet, as you know, I'm going to sell. The tool cabinet, the top half is going to be for $200. The bottom, I don't know if I am going to sell until I figure out where to place all the stuff that I've got in there. If I do sell it for both, it will be $300. That's pretty much it. I hope everything will fit in there. I can't see why it shouldn't, because don't forget I've got these stones, and I've got replacement stones in there. You know, I would just like everything that I use, even that's in here, to be in the chest. But stuff like that just can't be in the chest. And then I've got more shit in there. One thing I didn't do, and that's my bad, and that's I didn't accommodate for the for the bow saw. So that should go underneath the lid. But that'll be for another time. Well, that's it, folks. So the last video that I'll make is when everything is dry and all the tools are in. I'm going to clean up all the tools, get as much rust as I can off it, make all the bronze to be nice and shiny again, and then it should stay that way once it's in the box. It should stay that way. I know this box isn't for everyone, that's for sure. And I was worried about it for a long time. Which is why it took so long for me to even start the build. I was never sure, should I? Because of my bad back. But like Chris says, we've all got a bad back. And it may be annoying to go in and out of this box, but I'd rather protect my tools and be annoyed than to have them up there like that. Yeah, and just have it all the time open. I mean, you can close it. You can definitely close it. If you pull some things off, like you got to pull that off. You got to pull this off. I don't know what else you have to pull off, but then you can close it. And this thing also lifts out too, so I've probably got something in the back of it that I never use. So it's a good tool cabinet. You can either use it as is, or you can use it as a mock-up and build your own fancy schmancy one. All right. That's it. I think this is a copy from one of the Lie-Nielsen ones, way back in some 2000, very early 2000 and something. I think Bexford, he's the one who did this, and he was selling it with not him. Lie-Nielsen was as a trial run, I guess. They were selling all the tools plus the cabinet for about, I think, $15,000 back then. Even then, that was a lot of money. Still is a lot of money. All right, folks. I shall bid you goodbye. Look at it. It's gorgeous. Adios.